Oh, hello there. I'm James Omdahl, online marketing guru from Kutenda.com. And when I'm not trying to be more like Henry Rollins, I often think about form best practices. Would you like to learn more? Using forms on websites is a very important way for you to be able to monetize and get more leads on your website. So today we're going to talk about some of the form best practices, and the first thing we're going to discuss is where to put a form on a web page. In this case, we have a couple of sort of main areas you want to think about putting a form on. Now, if you're in the business of just straight lead generation, you're trying to get people to your website to fill out a form so you can give them a quote or sign them up as a client, you're going to want to put that lead form front and center. So if you see here on the diagram, your header would be up here, navigation, and then the very central part of your page, you're going to have your lead generation form. Somewhere where it's going to catch their eye and really bring their attention to it, so they know when they get to your website, they'll be able to convert and sort of do the action that you want them to do, and usually they want to do as well. You could have supporting text around this, maybe a little above or below, but you really want to draw their attention here and make it very clear that this is where they can go to get a lead or to sign up as one of your clients. Now, the other location that you can think about to put a lead form is in the right-hand navigation. And in that right-hand navigation, you might want to have people sign up for a newsletter, some sort of a registration, and also for signing up for a download. And the thing with this is there's probably going to need to be some text or information in this section of the page, giving them a reason to want to sign up for that newsletter, make that registration, get the download. But a location at the top right-hand side of the page in the navigation is sort of a central spot, because when people come and look at web pages, they usually start up here in the header, and then their eyes travel over to this area right here. So they'll notice right away that they can go ahead and sign up for a newsletter, register for your website, but then they might look back here for a little bit more information before they do that. So that's sort of the basic areas where you want to think about putting your forms on a website. The next thing we want to talk about is what to collect and what not to collect when setting up a form and putting those fields in there. On the collect side, number one thing you want to collect is an email address. With people signing up for some sort of a registration or just signing up for a lead, you want to be able to communicate with them, and by getting an email address, you'll be able to communicate directly to them through that email. Also, you want to collect a name, and in a lot of cases, you might just want to collect a first name. A lot of times, if you ask for first and last name, people are a little bit more hesitant to give you the information. So if you just need a first name to begin with, take that. If you do want a first and last name, of course, get that from them as well. Phone number, if you're in a business where you're going to be contacting by phone, it's fine to ask for that phone number, but only if you need it. Also, if you have any product or service information that you're going to need to be able to come back to them with a quote or any type of information, you're going to want to have that in the form as well. Any location-based information, if you serve certain areas. If you work on a national level, you might just want to ask for city. And if you work on a real localized level and you want to know a little bit more specifically where they might be, you could ask for zip code. And finally, if there's any opt-in, something like a newsletter, you're going to want to have them opt in to that newsletter and check a box to be compliant with CAN spam. So make sure you have that opt-in message there. Now, on the side of things not to collect, number one, you don't want to collect date of birth unless you really, really have to. And date of birth is one of those things that gets a little too personal for people, and when you ask for it, they start wondering why are they asking for date of birth. Also, social security number. This one's kind of obvious, but you really don't want to ask for any information like that. If you do, a lot of times people will think it's some sort of scam, and they'll immediately leave the page. Any unnecessary information. I think a best practice that you want to remember is only ask what you need to know and don't ask anything more, because the more questions you ask, the lower chance of people converting on that lead form, and when they don't convert, obviously you don't have business. Another thing you don't want to ask is gender, unless again you really have to. Gender is something that might turn someone off. A lot of times you don't need to know someone's gender to be able to accurately sell them a product or service. Of course, in maybe clothing business or something like that, you need to know it, but it might not be something that you ask on a form. And then any overly personal information, even things like height, weight. I know insurance agents kind of look for that medical information. If you don't have to collect that right off the bat or collect it in your form, don't do it. It's just going to make people not sign up through your form, and it's going to lower your chances of having that business. And that's really overall form best practices. Make sure you keep these in mind as you're going through and creating forms on your websites. And thanks for watching.